Hey everybody,
We're live!
we're doing our first live video, so don't really even know how it works, we're just doing it, so
The first time ever.
we'll do it live. Here, you talk for 1 second.
Okay, well, my dad's messing with the computer, and we're going to try to look at your comments during the video to answer your questions. So just put in any comments right now, and then this video, we're going to be talking about all Nintendo systems. We basically have all of them except one, which he'll be saying later in the video. It might be a little long because we have so many. No, this video will be super long if we're saying all the systems we have. But today, this is going to be all Nintendo systems.
Yeah, there you are. Here, let me...
Hey, my dad's filming me on the computer. I'm hecka confused.
So just keep going for a second. I gotta fix one thing. I accidentally set it so we had 2 things saying live.
Wait, what?
So let's take this one down.
Okay, so we're live, and then I'm shocked. I'm in shock. Doot 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 doot. Well, anyways, then all the Nintendo systems are gonna be talking about all of them in order. So then my dad's finished this right here. Like after that, then we're gonna be showing you each system and then doing the video. And then we're gonna show you like stuff about it, all the things about it.
Just give us 1 second.
And then if you guys like this video, after the video's done, put in the comments and then ask us if you want like any like if you want us to make a part 2. And then wait, Daddy, lift that up.
Says we got one person talking to us.
Oh,
Ryan JS, and he said he was playing Sonic CD and got a message. So,
I can't believe it. I'm actually
hi Ryan. How did you like Sonic CD? Have you been playing any Sonic Mania yet? It's got a few things from Sonic CD, I've noticed. So today, what are we doing? I put the pillow here so I can put the systems here.
Oh yeah. So first we're gonna be talking about NES, which is known also as Nintendo Entertainment System.
Here, I'll grab it. So we're gonna go through. It says Sonic CD was great, by the way.
Sonic Brew!
So we're gonna talk about each of our Nintendo systems in our collection.
Oh yeah, so first off here.
Oh, he hasn't played Sonic Mania yet. Sonic Mania is really cool.
Yeah.
Hopefully you'll get to try that at some point. So this is the Nintendo Entertainment System. This is the classic, the one that made Nintendo a household name, especially in North America. So one of the things they did, it looks very different than the one they made in Japan, which had a different name. Over there they called it the Famicom because it was short for Family Computer. And this one, they wanted it to look less like a toy and more like a VCR or something like that. So one of the things they did was make it so it opens in the front and you put games in. So they pop in and out like that, which actually is not a very good way to do the system. It makes it hard to get the games to work and makes the pins wear out pretty quickly.
Yeah, and then you may saw me play this game on the past video, but let's see where it is. Okay.
Yeah, this isn't the one I grew up with. I had sold that one at one point. This is one I got off of eBay, but it's in pretty nice condition. And when I got it, I couldn't get the pins to work. I had to take the whole thing apart. It's full of dust and stuff. I had to really clean it out. It was a good way to get to know the system, though. And I did buy a new pin connector.
You're covering my face. Ow! well, like this is really rare to be seeing a box of an NES game right now, and then you can see Punch Out.
So it's hard to find the boxes of the games now because no, talk as much as you want. He says he loves the classic games.
Yeah,
he's all about them. So it's hard to find the box ones because back then we didn't think to keep the boxes, or it's just a piece of cardboard. I didn't keep any of mine. I would keep my instruction books, but that was it. And this is what cartridges look like if you haven't seen. This one has 3 games built in, so it's a little different. This one has Super Mario Brothers, Duck Hunt, and Track and Field. And they have a few versions of this. And this was the dust sleeves that most people keep their games in. And that's how I kept all mine. And then I also had...
Wait, let me put it... I want to wear it for my sleeve.
Not that kind of sleeve.
Yeah, I'm wearing it.
And then this is what the controllers look like. They match the system in color. You can stop walking in front.
Wait, Daddy. So, like, I don't want to spoil anything, but you know that other game we got was the Super Nintendo and the NES that plays both games?
The Retron 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have it down here?
No.
Yeah, this one that by itself on another video. It's not exactly.
We're just putting real Nintendo consoles, not clone systems today.
Yeah.
We don't have many anyway. We just have Retron 2. But that's the controller. It's very simple. A, B, start, select, and your D-pad. And it's not actually the most comfortable because it's got sharp edges on the sides, but it's good. It does the job, and they hold up pretty well.
Yeah, it makes it fun when like you push down. When you push down, like all of these buttons, like when you're playing Punch Out, it hurts your thumbs. It makes your fingers really tired. Like for a lot of games, it does that.
Yeah, after you play for a while, you get pretty tired.
Yeah.
And then we have cord extenders that you plug on the end of it so you could play further away. I didn't have those growing up. I wish I did. You had to sit pretty close to your TVs. Not as close as the NES Classic, but pretty close.
And this controller's evil. Hurts.
So you just plug it in and get it extended. And then this is the NES Advantage. This was the kind of arcade joypad they had for the system, and I always wanted one of these, but I didn't get one until recently, within the last year, and it's pretty solid. I heard the NES controller was a little bit like the PlayStation controller. The original PlayStation controller was kind of similar because it only had D-pad. It didn't have the analog sticks. It's a little different though. At least it was more comfortable because you could hold it underneath. I don't have one of them right here.
Let's see. Oh, does that say David? Right?
Yeah. It says, hey.
Hey, what's up, David? A friend.
Yeah, so this one, it's nice, it's solid, it's heavy metal, and the joystick works pretty well, and it has turbos that you could push that will make the buttons just keep firing. It's really good if you're playing like a shooting kind of game, and then you could change the speed at which they fire, and then there's also a way to switch from 1 to 2 player. And there's a slow motion mode, but all it does is pause it on and off. And this has the option of plugging in 2 at a time. So that that's how you could do 2-player, and you would switch off each time. And here's Bennett's favorite thing about the system.
Oh yeah. Let's get the cigar in here and do this.
The light guns, the NES Zapper.
Oh yeah, guess what? Zappers for the NES, and guess what? And then my favorite game to use these on is the Duck Hunt, and then this one actually came out first, but they thought it too realistic, so then they made this one come out, and then like this one's the more famous one, and then David said that this video is so cool, and he got that right. It's so cool!
Yeah, they passed a law that you had to make toy guns less realistic. They had to have bright colors on them, which I grew up with this one. I didn't even know about. Well, I only kind of saw the gray, but my system came with this. It was part of it with Duck Hunt. So I think that's everything for the NES.
Then we're gonna move on.
Oh, let's just say quickly what year it came out, because I got that info pulled up for us. Came out 1985. I didn't get mine till 89 though, because in 85 I was only a little 1 or 2 year old, depending on what part of the year it was.
Get back. I need to go to the bathroom.
Okay, go to the bathroom live. Close the door.
That was quick.
Silly. Alright, next up is the Super Nintendo. And this came out in 1991. And I probably got it, I think, like 6 months after it came out. Maybe less than a year, but not right away. So, let me pop this out so you can see. So this, all again, not the one I had growing up. I was dumb and I sold it. But this is another one I found on, actually we bought this at a video game show we went to last year in Sacramento.
Let me see. Let's see. I never saw this snack close up. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then
and again, it looks very different than the one they had over in Japan, which was the Super Famicom. And some of the things on it, it has your power that you push up and down, reset, same thing, and then it has an eject button that makes your games pop out. I'll tell you if anyone writes anything.
I'm just looking, making sure.
We do have a Sega Genesis. Today we just pulled out all our Nintendo stuff, though. I think we'll maybe do a live stream later where we pick some other systems, maybe go through Sega systems we have, or Sony systems, or now we have a couple Microsoft, and then we're not going to go over our handhelds today either. That could take a while too, just for all Game Boys. It's very satisfying to eject the games out. So you just pop it and it pops out. It's pretty fun.
What video game is this?
Hold on, we'll talk about that in a second. So here's what it looks like.
It's Pac-Man. Well, there's one thing also, guys, that I actually just realized. This thing right here, this whole thing isn't actually the disc. It's this part that's the disc.
Well, you're jumping ahead here.
Okay.
So hold on. This is what a Super Nintendo game looks like. This one's Star Fox. So, again, cartridges kind of like the NES, but smaller. So you can compare them. Quite a bit shorter and gray. And one of the things with these, to get better graphics out of them, they put special chips inside them. So this one comes with the FX chip inside. That's how they're able to get some 3D graphics. And this worked a lot better than the NES because you just put it straight in. You didn't have to deal with that pushing in and making it move up and down. And the other one Bennett's holding is a Super Game Boy. And what this is, it's basically a Game Boy that you stick inside your NES. And then you stick your Game Boy games in there. So Game Boy games are much smaller because that's a handheld system. But this let you play your Game Boy games on the TV and in color and with borders around them, and some games were...
I never knew that, actually.
Yeah, and some of the games were special, made for it, so they had extra bonus things if you played them in this. So this is how I like to play my Game Boy games if I'm at home. This is how I played most of, like, well, at least like half of Pokemon Red when that was new.
I like Pokemon Blue more. I'm against my dad.
These are what the controllers look like. And again, we have extenders for these just like the NES. This one's the standard controller for the Super Nintendo. It's just flat on the back. And these cords are a little bit longer. And this one has... These buttons kind of stick out. These ones are concave and go in, so they have a little bit different feel. And there's also now L and R buttons. So this has 4 more buttons than the old NES. Then this one is what it looked like in Japan. This is the Famicom controller. And it works on NESs though. The only difference really is that the cord's a lot shorter and the buttons are all sticking out. There's none that are concave and they're colorful.
I want to get more.
And in Europe they had similar ones to this too for the PAL systems. I do like the way it looks better. We got a little gypped on that. And then this is a quick shot. This is not made by Nintendo. I don't know if Nintendo made a joystick for Super Nintendo. I don't think they did. But this is the one I had. It's from a third party. It's kind of neat. It has suction cups to hold it down.
Well, who made that if Nintendo didn't make it?
I don't know, but it's the Quick Shot for professional players. Because if you don't have this, you're not a professional.
Suckers!
This was good for fighting games. Mostly I got this because I was really into Street Fighter 2 at the time. And it has slow motion, and it also has turbo. And for the shoulder buttons, they just put them up here. Kind of an interesting way they did the layout. And that works pretty well. It's not as solid. It doesn't feel as solid as the NES Advantage that we looked at earlier, though. So that's the Super Nintendo, and that's probably my favorite system. It's got a lot of 2D platformers that are really fun.
Yeah, it is pretty cool system. My favorite on it is Pokemon Blue.
So we're going through these in chronological order. So next we're going to look at the Nintendo 64. I will tell you.
Oh, Devin isn't professional.
He's not a professional.
You're not professional.
We got to get you a quick shot, Devin. So next, this is the Nintendo 64 that came out in 1996. So let's grab that bad boy.
Oh yeah, the system I like a lot too. Conker's my favorite game on it, so that's why we spoiled it.
What did you spoil?
That Conker's for it, so probably all knows that. The Nintendo 64!
So Nintendo 64 was all about 3D. This was like the first big 3D system. Well, it's for Nintendo. And in general, it was like the first really popular 3D. So here's the system itself, and just like you might have noticed in my NES, I have an EverDrive in it. EverDrives are cool flash carts that let you play any ROMs you put on them. So basically, we could play any game ever made for it.
Oh yeah.
So that's what the EverDrive looks like. And I got them through Stone Age Gamer. And there's where you put your memory card. But here's the system itself. And one cool thing about this, it was made for parties. So it came with it was the first console that had 4 controller spots built right in.
Oh yeah.
And again, a reset one that you push down, power that you slide, drawers that open to put the games, top loader. Had this spot, which at the time I didn't do anything with, but now I have the expansion pack, and that gives you more RAM in your system. And a couple games require it. A lot of games it's optional, but it makes the graphics look better. Majora's Mask, Donkey Kong Country, and
Conker.
Perfect Dark. Conker does not.
Wait, what are you
But
talking about?
those are games that require the expansion pack. So here's what the system looks like. It's got some ventilation on the top. It's a little more rounded. The back, if I had it pulled over here, there's a huge power brick that you plug in right here.
Oh,
so instead of doing it at the end of the cord, they did it in the system, which was nice.
Yeah.
Do you think you could still call Nintendo and get these things repaired?
There's one thing. It's not actually the 64 system.
Super Mario Poké-Nerds here too.
Yeah.
Hey,
What?
I'll tell you, you don't need to get in the way and read it every time. He says hi.
Well, hi. Hi, Jake. That's your real name. Okay.
Hey, Jake.
Who's commenting now?
Nobody.
No. I just saw
That
some.
was an email.
Oh, for your work? It's
Yeah.
not for your work.
So these are what the
work.
games look like. It wasn't for my work. This is what the games look like. This one's Mario Party. I like to keep dust protectors on the bottom of them. Usually I do it with my Super Nintendo games also. So again, cartridges. Again, a little smaller than the Super Nintendo ones. Size has gone down a little bit. I'll show you a comparison here. So now we're getting a lot smaller than the Nintendo ones. And then these ones, there's a couple games that came in different colors for the Super Nintendo, but not too many. There's a little bit more. And I don't think I have any of the other ones for Super Nintendo, but I do have a few other colors
They're pretty cool.
for Nintendo 64. So Tony Hawk's, each one of those was a color. The Scooby-Doo game, there was Doom. So there's red. There's a few different colors.
Where are you? We got some work to do now.
And then this is what the controller looked like, and people are pretty divided on this, if it's good or not. It is kind of weird because it looks like you need 3 hands to use it.
Wait, I have free hands. Okay, just keep your hand right there. Don't have to take this hand away. I have free hands.
The way it's supposed to be used is if it was a 2D kind of game, you would hold it on the outside and use the D-pad, which not a ton of games played that way though. And then the shoulder buttons are also there. But if it's a 3D game, you hold it here and you use the analog stick, which was a first of its kind. That really set it apart.
One thing you guys should know too. This is the other one we have, and then like it's red, and then my dad invented the long cord for it. Let's see what did David just say?
He said that he's seen that controller before.
The red one?
And Poking Nerd's got to go, okay, well hopefully you can make it back. We'll see how long we talk. I don't know.
See you, nerd.
But they came in different colors, and what he's talking about with the cord is sometimes when my old controllers would break, or sometimes when I just got bored and wanted to mess around, I would cut the wires, then I would try to splice it to make longer cords, because we didn't have cord extenders back then, which you could just buy now. But this one's actually 2 cords spliced together, because that's the type of stuff I did when I was a kid. But it also has a Z trigger on the bottom, and this one has quite a few more buttons. Most games you held this way, so you're moving around like this. Camera controls were usually these yellow buttons, and then you only had 2 like main buttons now, and start in the middle, and no more select.
Yay!
Select was not the most important button anyway.
Boo.
That's kind of an old school arcade thing of picking what game you're going to play, which you don't really need when you're playing at home. So that was Nintendo 64. I don't think I got that at launch either. I'm not sure how much later I got it.
Which one's the next one are you doing?
Do you know what comes next?
No.
Well, it's your favorite, the GameCube. So let's see, what year did GameCube come? GameCube 2001.
I'll get the GameCube out.
It's already right here, Sonny.
Oh, it is.
This is one that I did buy on launch. This is like the only system that I went out of my way to buy on launch day. And here it is.
Yeah, and it's actually cute. It's eat it.
And they come in different colors, silver and black, I think are the common ones, but there's a few. And one funny thing with them is they have a handle on the back so you can carry them very easily and bring them around.
And there's one thing also. Let me try singing. I'll do it, honey.
Have a good day, dear.
Oh yeah, and there's one other thing also. Like this is the system that my favorite video game at all times on, the Luigi's Mansion. So this is my favorite system mostly because of that also.
One thing that people really criticized the Nintendo 64 was that they still use cartridges. Everyone else was already using.
Wait, who just commented?
Was it in? Says
was it
called the lunchbox? I would call it a lunchbox.
Okay, show my food. Let's just open it. Show all my food in it.
So everyone was already using discs at this point, putting their games on CDs at first, and later DVDs. Nintendo didn't want to do that, but they lost a lot of third-party support. People didn't want to make games for the Nintendo 64, so then they decided it's time to use discs. And the buttons we have on top of the system here, there's the power button, there's the reset button, oh no, sorry, reset button, then the open button. And that's how you open it to put your discs in. And it has just a disc reader in there. And the side has a vent. The front again has 4 ports for your controllers. And this one was the first Nintendo one that used memory cards. Oh, didn't show you something with the Nintendo 64. Well, I don't know where my memory pack is. Some of the games you stuck a memory pack in the bottom and you would save on there. Not a ton, but one of the things it was more famous for was the Rumble Pack. And this one's a little heavier. and you put that in your system, and you have to put batteries in it.
Let me feel how heavy it is.
It's not super heavy.
Yes.
And this was the very first one. So along with being the first controller with the analog stick,
This is heavy.
it was also the first one with vibration. So it'd shake while you play. And that, I believe that came with
hate
Star Fox
vibration.
64. He does not like using it with the vibration. So this one used memory cards since it was discs, and the memory cards were little cubes.
Can I see?
The black one holds more. And unlike the PlayStation memory cards, these ones seem to hold a lot more. I didn't have to go and buy a ton of them. PlayStation and PlayStation 2, they just have all these cards everywhere that fill up really quickly. That's one of the things that annoyed me.
Wait,
You're funny.
What? You're so funny. I'm funny too, yeah. I was scared when I was doing that. I was like, am I gonna hurt myself or what?
One thing I don't have that I want for this is you can get a Game Boy player that goes underneath and fits in here, and you can play your Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games on there. So, but you need a disc to play it too, and they're kind of pricey. Someday I really want to get that. So what do the discs look like for this system?
Well, let me open it and I'll show them.
They don't
So
look
this
like
is the
regular
box.
CDs.
Well, yeah, they're like more. Well, you'll see. So look.
Oh, careful.
Oh,
Here,
okay. Look, I'll do.
Here.
See?
Calm down, clumsy.
They're little. See?
So this is what the games look like. They're in cases kind of like DVDs, and then they used a special kind of tiny disc. So that's very small compared to a regular one. I forget what they call these, mini DVs or something.
Should I
But-
show them a regular one compared to it?
Nah, they'll see one in a minute. So that, it was a step in the right direction, but still people didn't really want to make games for them because you couldn't fit as much on these little discs. They didn't have as much surface space to hold data.
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 Let's see, what else can I show you about it? Just 1 second. I'll show you the controllers.
My sister's right there, and I really do not want her to run the video.
Oh,
Liana, this is live. We can't fix what you discussed.
oh, like it's so perfect. All right.
She can't get naked in the video. She got naked in the bath outside.
Well, she's not naked now for once. So this is what the controllers look like. I had a purple one at the time, but I don't know what happened to it. So this is a black one. I really like these controllers.
I don't know what you showed me.
I got it already. So this had a better analog stick. One problem with the Nintendo 64 analog sticks is that they would get worn out and they wouldn't work anymore. This one doesn't have that issue. It's also much more comfortable. And then it's got D-pad right here.
Then there's also both of these ones too.
So these are third-party controllers that I got. Careful, honey. Honey, don't go over there. Stay over here. You can come say hi if you want.
And then here, this was a newer one they made. The other ones came with the system, and like the old ones. These are the newer ones they made for the system.
You are jumping ahead and not explaining it.
Well, okay.
Actually, that didn't come very much later. If you want to know.
I don't
Okay,
know the
so let me finish going over this real quick. Honey, please stop playing with the curtain over there.
Yeah, this is the live video.
Yeah, so you've seen the
I did
Devin, he's seen one of them. I think he's seen the Wavebird. So let's go back real quick. So, what did you do? Here we go.
What do you
So
do?
here's the-
What? Say, yay.
Yeah, he's seen the, it says yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So this one, very comfortable controller, even though it looks weird. It looks like they just barf the buttons up all over it. But it's actually pretty comfortable. And it's made for 2 hands this time. And it's got, they moved that Z trigger to the top in addition to some really comfortable, nice triggers of the L and R. Then they put the C buttons on a little C stick instead, which is a lot better. And then the one thing I'll say, it has a tiny D-pad, which isn't very good. Honey,
I want to show you guys something real quick.
No, don't move it around.
I want to show them all of that, though.
No, don't show them the mess.
Come on.
Juliana, honey, can you stand over here? You want to say hi to everybody? You can come say hi.
I want to do a big video that you guys can do.
Well, we'll do it soon.
But I want to do it with you.
So the Wavebird, the nice thing about this was that it's
this
wireless. This was the first like really great wireless controller.
Hello, Juliana.
She could say hi.
No, she's covering me up.
today-
On the front one.
Hey, don't
No,
fight.
on the front one. On the front one. Look at my teeth! My teeth!
Oh!
Juliana, seriously, stop. No.
Okay, honey. Mom's calling you.
Juliana,
Bennett,
stop.
don't fight on camera. They're gonna catch you.
I already told Devin that I beat up my sister.
Oh, that's something to be proud of. Hey, Mom's calling you. So, wireless. You would plug in a receiver.
Those ones are better than these ones.
I don't know where the receiver is the second, but it's a gray block that you plug into the front of the GameCube. And then you could play this from anywhere, and it worked really well. And it did take some batteries, though. A couple AA's.
I shoved one up my
But
mouth.
it's still one of my favorite controllers, and I really like the way the wired one feels a little better, but just being able to play anywhere. I use this all the time. I think we have 3 of them. And you could also use these on the Wii, so that's a good segue, because next we're talking about
The Wii.
the Wii.
Okay, so we actually had 2 Wii's we're going to be showing. Juliana, get out of the way.
Bennett, both of you get out of the way, let me.
I'm getting. So, Juliana, move. I'm trying to show them something important for the video. Move. Well, like,
Okay, honey.
first show the white one because I've got the other one too.
Okay, hold on, mister. Got lots of stuff to show with this Wii.
Wait, that's for my. Wait. I have questions.
Hold your
I'm
horses.
having a question real quick.
You got a lot of
Was
questions.
Mario Kart 8 for the Wii or Wii U? Was it first
The
made
Wii U.
For, yeah, it was first made for the
Oh.
Wii.
Here is how you connect those Wavebird controllers. You plug this in and you tell it where to go. Yes, Friday. Ugh,
Wait,
it's been a
what?
week. He says
Did you
he's
say-
so glad it's Friday.
I'm glad it's Friday too.
So this is where you plug into your front of your GameCube to hook up that wireless controller.
And then show them the white system, and then I'll show them this.
So this is
Well,
the
I
Wii.
can say I used to have the Wii.
Wii's are still cool.
Yeah.
One thing that's really cool is
We have red.
we modded our Wii's. So this is the red one. This is a special one.
You
Oh, you modded yours too? That's cool. I'll read it. You don't need to shove your face into camera each time. Brush your teeth, young man.
Okay, we're watching that video and going to this part to see it.
So, the Wii, this one lost part. I don't know where the cover is, but one thing right off the bat that I'll tell you is that you could play all your GameCube games on here, and it has 4.
Wait, you can?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And it has 4 ports for your
Oh, yeah,
GameCube
that's
controllers, and it has slots for your memory cards, which is really cool. Nintendo did a really nice thing making that backwards compatible. And they really didn't need to, because it doesn't use any of the same components besides that. This is a hard drive that I put all our discs onto, so we could play the games without putting the discs in anymore. But so this is what the Wii looks like.
Yeah.
You've probably seen one before.
We have 2.
This is a red one that was a Mario bundle that we had picked up for my work, but then eventually they didn't need it anymore,
Why
So,
did our
then
work
they gave it
have
to me.
Why did your work have it?
so I could play games at work, of course.
Oh.
So when the Wii came out, I was in college and it was really hard to get one, and I used to go to GameStop a lot, and it's kind of like the Switch now. It was like everyone was after it, and it was really hard to get a hold of. Then after I got out of college and I was working at Google and I would go to like friends' house and stuff, everywhere you went was Wii. Aw, he misses his Wii. He regrets selling it. Well, at least you could pick them up pretty cheap now if you wanted to get a new one. I've seen them for anywhere from like 30 to 40 pretty regularly. I bet you could even find 20 somewhere. But what the Wii looks like, it was meant to be stood up like this, or you could lay it on its side.
We lay it on its side. Well, this one we lay like this to see. Same. Oh, you do the same? Cool. Yeah, something, because for the red one, we have it on the side, like how it is. And then, see.
Oh, he sold his too. $50 there. Oh.
Oh, man.
Juliana, honey, don't cry.
Brianna, it's a video.
So this is how you hold up your Wii. Hey, Pokemon 101.
Hey, I haven't seen you long time no see. Long time no see.
Juliana, calm down.
It's a live video, Juliana.
So this is the stand that you could set it in if you wanted. And why don't you show them controllers and talk about it while I comfort your sister for a minute.
Get her out of here. Beat her up.
Show them the controllers.
Beat her up.
Oh, you can show them the games too. I brought a couple games.
I see the games. I'll show them now. You do what Juliana will I do. So for the red one, here are like, so you can see like this wasn't actually like okay, it wasn't on here, like it's like without it too, you can see, but this is the extra part, and then like these are the red ones. I still have my stand, but I use it for a remote stand. Well, that's cool too. And then like, so these are the controllers look like, and then you can see we actually have two distinct games that look different, so I remember that. Yep, that's right, David. I remember when I used to play this all the time, but I don't play that much anymore. You see, I got this one, and I even got the other boxer one. See, well, I have no idea where the disc for this made. Oh God, I told my sister to not ruin this video, but she kind of is. So, and we got this Mario, this Wario. We got Wario Shake It, White Wario Land Shake It. You can see it looks all crazy.
Okay, this is what most of the Wii games look like. White cases, like DVDs, and they still can't. Here, get out of the way so you don't fall. They came with instruction books back then still.
Right back.
And then some of them were colored, very few. In Mario's, this is when Mario started coming in red. Oh. I don't really know about the differences of the Model Wiis. I know this one was an early one, this one was a later one. I know they made the Wii Minis, but I was never too interested in that, just because you couldn't play the GameCube stuff on it. But if I saw one now, I might pick it up. A few of our games are like this too. This one came with the system.
I showed them that.
Yeah, so
wait,
we have probably like 5 games that came in weird little sleeves.
Did you show like those controllers yet?
No, let's talk about controllers. The Wii. So did you show them the regular controller?
Yeah.
And the nunchuck?
Yeah, and then like people like I couldn't take the covers. I don't want to take the covers off for that. So, but I have the covers off for the.
Here, get out of the way.
Let's see. I'm working. It's working now.
Oh, good.
Wait, what's working now?
The live stream. All right, let's keep going.
So like this stuff, like this is how it looks for the same for the red ones. This all red. The stream is fine for.
Okay.
Me. Okay, so like this is how it looks without the sleeves. Me. Okay.
Okay. So this is a normal Wii controller, and then they made.
Let me show them those ones. So,
just stay over here. I'll hand them to you.
Okay. Wait. So they also made this one.
Well, hold on. You're going out of order. This is something that you had to buy and add on, or it came with Skyward Sword. It made your.
Hi. Hi, Bennett. Also, hi, YouTube.
This is the Motion Plus, and this made it so it's more accurate for your motion controls.
And what's next one? Hand next one to me.
Oh, this one. Oh, let's talk about this silly one.
Okay. Wait,
Well,
what? I thought this was for the...
that one's a Wii U, but they also made one for the Wii. I just don't know where it is. But this one you stuck in the controller, and this is how you played your Mario Kart if you wanted to play with tilt controls, and you didn't really need it in any way, but it's kind of fun to make it good for kids. My kids like playing with it. And speaking of kids, this is something I don't think anyone's ever shown.
Yeah, oh, they had the... Wait, what does it say?
Oh, he can't hear us right now. So, this is for only one game.
Me too. He said. Oh, so you can't hear us either.
Can you hear us right now?
Oh wait, he said. Let me see. I can't undo.
Okay, there we go. So this is...
Wait, see.
Okay, Bennett.
I can't.
Bennett.
Okay, now
I can read without shoving my face up there. I have good eyesight.
I don't.
I know. This is for a Sesame Street game. This is a little like sock you put on your Wii, and it basically makes it so you only see the 2 button and the plus button, the minus button, and the home button. So that is kind of silly.
Wait, did you buy that by itself, Daddy?
No, it came with the game. Yeah, let me make sure the mic's in well for everybody. Alright, why don't you speak? Let me see if I can hear us when I look at it on here.
Okay, well.
I
Wait,
do.
it looks like it's a little backwards on that, though. It's a little backwards up
That's
there.
how live streams work. They take a couple second delay to get out there.
What? Okay. Wait, what does that say?
He doesn't want people to hear where he is right now.
I can hear because I don't.
Let the world hear.
Here, I can hear. You can hear! Well, good. Good. Okay, so they also have this controller, too.
That is, well, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. This is the classic controller. This plugs into the bottom just like the nunchuck, and this is good for playing old games. So, it's meant to kind of replace your Super Nintendo and Nintendo controllers and Nintendo 64 and whatever other ones they had on the classic console, TurboGrafx and stuff. So then this was kind of an upgraded version of it. It's an okay controller, but it's not the most comfortable. It's kind of weird, and the cord comes out the bottom. This was a pretty nice upgrade in my opinion. It had real trigger buttons. It had grips. You could
Wait, do we
use a
skip?
D-pad
Wait,
easily.
did we tell them that we don't have the Virtual Boy? Did we skip that one?
Well, we're showing what we have. We're not talking about every system ever made.
Oh yeah, wait. So the Virtual Boy is the only system we don't have. I'm saying, right?
Well, yeah. There's little models of systems, but that's the
What?
only main one we don't have.
Yeah. So then, like that one, which one was that after?
I don't know. That would have been. That's a handheld considered anyway. It's not. It's supposed to be a handheld.
Oh, never mind.
Well, anyway, so these ones work a lot better. They feel a lot nicer.
After you talk about that one, I want to show the people this.
Oh, the controllers also came in a lot of colors. So you saw a red one. Here's a black one, and this one is a later model. And you can see on the bottom it says Motion Control Plus. So you didn't need to buy this and stick it on. They were already built into them, which was nice.
And then, should I show them this controller?
Sure.
Okay, so then, what's that comment say?
I will subscribe to anybody. So
Well,
this is
Oh, I see. I had that red, that white.
I had
one.
the red and white one.
Oh yeah. So
So this is a Mario one. We also have a Luigi one. This is they're kind of like fake GameCube controllers that they made that you hook into your Wii for playing classic games too, and they're pretty good. They feel a little cheap compared to the real GameCube controllers, but they work pretty well. And they made these specifically for Smash Brothers. A lot of people wanted these for Smash. And they're alright. They work for what they are. These are something they still make. These are kind of more recent, but they work on the Wii. So I thought I'd show them there. Oh, this is the Wii U.
It says bye. Bye. And then that said Ryan RJS bye. Then
Because Pikimon's going. It's okay. I can read it.
okay.
Alright, so now we're almost done. We only have a few left.
Only 2 left.
So let me move these things.
Show them behind the scenes. How messy it is.
Show them that we have a bunch of games and controllers sitting in a dog bed.
I'm already trying to show them.
Don't show them.
Okay, see. No, keep live stream. Okay. So I'm doing the live stream as much as I can.
Alright. So next we have the Wii U. This one just is a console that ended its life recently, as you probably know.
Yeah, and then my dad's gonna probably say it, so I'm not say it yet, so I'll wait for him to talk about that.
Alright, so people did not know what the heck a Wii U was, and that's why it had such a hard time. And the Wii U, it looked kind of like just like a big Wii, a little bit, except now no more GameCube support. You can't play GameCube games on it. You can't plug GameCube controllers into it. It's heavier and bigger than the Wii. It's just pretty sleek. It's got this time a spot where you can put an SD card for memory. It's got quite a few USB ports, so it's easy to hook up anything you want to it, like hard drives.
What does that comment say?
I got confused with the Wii and the Wii U names. Yeah, they should not have kept Wii in the name. I think they're trying to play off the popularity of the Wii, but it wasn't a good idea because people didn't know if this was like a new system. Is this something you buy to work with your Wii? What is it? Well, it is its own system. It does have HDMI out. It is HD. It uses the same sensor bar as the Wii. That's something we didn't talk about. You have to put a bar on top of your TV for these controllers to work. It uses the same controllers as the Wii, but it also uses the gamepad.
Yeah, and then like they actually like I don't want to get ahead, but like I'll show you later.
What do you want to show?
No, nothing.
So the gamepad was your main controller, and it gave you another screen. Yeah, and some games took advantage of it. A lot didn't, but it would have been better if more did. Some of them you would just do like your inventory on it or a map. Sometimes it would have something more interesting while you're looking. Sometimes it would just show exactly what you were doing on the TV, just duplicated. Which that could be handy if you wanted to play this without having your TV on, which I did for a lot of virtual console games. It's got 2 triggers on the top, 2 on the back. It's got a pretty okay thumbstick, similar to the GameCube one. A little D-pad, well, not too little, but not as big as they used to be. Home button, you could control your TV with it. You can control the system's power with it, start, select, and then the same buttons, X, A, B, Y, and then a second control stick for your camera and stuff. So it was actually pretty cool, and it also has built-in camera here. This live stream is the best one I've ever seen. Thank you. This is our first one, so.
Thank you. Now my real voice now. It's gotten the chance, baby. Oh yeah. I'm the gangster that hit me trying to die. Let's get on it, lady.
You are too silly.
Ha.
It also had volume control. It has speaker built into it, so you could listen to that. You could put your headphones on and play it. This is the longest live stream I've been in. Yeah, I think we're almost done. It feels long. It's got camera built into the front, and it's pretty. I think it's pretty cool. It's kind of disappointing that it failed so bad because I haven't been touching it in a while. So, the Wii U, there's not a ton to say about it. It didn't last too long. Games for the system look kind of the same, but they're blue. And bigger discs, just like the Wii, normal sized discs.
And we're getting ready to talk.
A few of them were red, like this Mario Kart. And ones like this, all those controllers that we showed you for the Wii work for the Wii U. So that was kind of nice. You could reuse all your controllers. Except you couldn't hook the GameCube controllers up directly to it. Then there's the Wii U Pro controller, which I really like. It works really well for the games that support it. It's very comfortable, feels very modern, has everything laid out like right where you'd want it. This is like a gamer's controller. So, why don't we? Do you have much you want to say about the Wii U?
Nah, not really.
We waited about a year to buy the Wii U. We got this white one, which is like the downgraded bundle with less memory. It came with Skylanders.
And the black one's better, right?
Well, it has more memory.
Yeah, wait, which one came first?
They came out at the same time, I think.
And
So
then-
that's the Wii U.
yeah,
Rest in peace.
First we'll show you this.
And now we'll show you the current system, the Switch.
The Switch, and then this is the whole system itself.
So this is the dock. What he just did was, when you have this plugged in, it'll display on your TV, and then when you're ready to take it out with you, yes, rest in power, Wii U. Then you just pull it out. So let me see this.
That's the whole system.
So this is the first hybrid system. It's a handheld and a yeah, bring that over here.
Yeah, I'll be showing you.
It's a handheld and it's a home console.
Then let's see, what does he say? Bennett, I will be
Commenting on your last video, okay?
Okay, yeah.
So when it's like this, it's playing on your TV. And then when you're ready to go outside or go in a car, you just pull it out and it's ready to go.
Yeah, and then also, like, first to talk about the controllers before we talk more about the games.
So these controllers on the side are called Joy-Cons, and they come off. They don't have to stay on the side. So
And
when
then
it's
you
in your
can
TV, you can play it like this. So you're just holding them. Some games like ARMS, you can play it by moving. They're like the Wii controllers. They're motion sensitive.
And then, like, you can put them on the now.
Yeah, you could put them in here.
And then after now, I show them, like, the games are like, what they look like.
And this turns it to kind of a more normal controller. This is usually what you do while you're playing on TV if you want to simulate like a more average controller.
And then,
There's also a Pro controller, but we don't have that quite yet.
yeah.
But I have a surprise. I ordered one and it's coming.
Wait, you did?
Yes.
So does it look like?
It looks kind of like the other Pro controller, but nicer.
Ooh, yeah. And we got the Mario game for the Switch. That didn't
Well, I
come out-
pre-ordered the Mario game because if you pre-order it, you could save $10 right now on Amazon.
And then you get one day before in stores, and then, like, here's how small the box is, and then here's how small the game is.
So back to cartridges nowadays, and these are like smaller than SD cards. And if you lick them, you'll get a gross taste in your mouth
Well,
because you're not supposed to eat them.
Well, yeah, so, like, for little kids, they, like, made it, like, taste bad for the kids to gag them out and see me lick it.
You gonna lick it again? Oh, you left something out.
Ugh! Oh, I need some water. There's gonna be next time I
Why are you licking it
Next time
again?
It tastes extra bad. They gave it juice. It tastes extra bad.
When are you licking the front of them?
Yeah. Well, before I did it, now I did, and it's so bad. Don't do that, guys.
All right, let's see something here. All right, Juliana, stop, honey. It's noisy. We're almost finished. So the games go right up top. You just slide them in. And now people did changes with the Nintendo Switch. Alright, I'm gonna taste it.
Do it.
Oh, that's terrible. Don't taste it. Oh, challenges with the Switch. Oh, my daughter. Poor daughter's crying.
I see. Ha ha ha.
Don't taste it. It's gross. So, there's the system itself is just like got a spot for putting your charger. It's got volume controls, power, built-in fan, a spot to put your headphones, a little kickstand. I gotta say the kickstand's pretty disappointing though. It's pretty weak. It's fairly flimsy, but it works. And then that's where you put extra memory and a micro SD card. Shh, come in the video. You could come join us. It's okay.
No, you can't.
Yes, you can. Another way you use the Joy-Cons is like tiny controllers. So if you're playing a game and you want to play 2-player and you only have that, you could move these around and play it. They're both laid out so they could be like controllers for babies. So we did try that with some Mario Kart.
Yeah.
And I got used to it, but it's kind of weird.
Well, this is how it is for me. Do. I'm a baby. I can't do it. I can't do this. This is good for a baby, though.
And these have HD rumble in them, and they have special cameras at the bottom of them.
Stop, Juliana. We're making a live video.
Almost done, honey.
Maybe a baby do yourself.
Oh, don't be rude. So there's also these things that comes with. Let's see here. Plus, you want to make sure you put them on the right way though, otherwise
They break.
they're hard to get off.
No, they break.
No, they don't break. Let's see. Yeah. So you slide these on the side. Let's see. I think I did put it on the wrong one after all that. Let's see. No? What am I doing wrong? Is that it? Well, anyways, you put these on and they beef it up a little bit. Yeah, I did put it on wrong way. Let's see.
Wait, what? I didn't know we had those.
I told you. Okay. There we go. Now I look silly. So that makes them a little wider. It gives you wrist straps. Makes it a little more meaty to play.
Freaking stop.
Oh, don't. Now you're going to see the true Bennett.
Oh, God. Juliana, you like to say about her. I don't want to say it.
Be a nice boy.
What did he say? Please?
Do more.
What did he just say? He said, please. What?
Please do more.
Oh.
So that's what they look like when you get those little things on them. Makes them a little easier to hold. Makes it so they don't fly off when you're holding your wrist straps. Do more Plants vs. Zombies.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Alright, we got the
Wiggle,
second
wiggle,
game
wiggle.
now on our Xbox One, so we could do that as well. So,
See. Wait, what did Devin say? Saying Devin said.
he wants you to do more Plants vs. Zombies.
Well, guess what? I'm gonna do the video for the second. I'm gonna do playthrough for the second game soon. And see what you say, Devin. Yeah, Bennett, you were super good at it. You saying that again? I'm champ. I dare you to actually put other comments saying that again. Do it. As soon as you don't, you do it.
You are so silly. And one thing that's kind of interesting I've seen we only have 2 games so far, but the games have the basic controller instructions just right here in the box, built in to the back of the paper. So that's kind of it for our home console Nintendo systems.
And then we might make
Although this one's a mix between home and handheld.
And then, we'll probably make other video about the Switch because we still don't know too much about it yet. We might
Still pretty new for us. We've only had it for
like a week.
a little more than a week, about 2 weeks. So, anything else you want to say? I think we're wrapping up here, and I think my daughter's melting down outside.
She's actually melting.
So I better go deal with that.
Okay, well, people, thanks for watching our live video, and then I see you guys next time. Okay, do it one time.
And next time, we won't do it with this bright window behind you.
Yeah, and then
That wasn't a good move.
Yeah, we'll do a live video sometime. I'll tell you about it again.
Alright, well, thanks for watching.
Yeah, and then also, this is how we started to sing. If we're doing a regular video and my sister went bursting in here, I'll just tell my dad to turn off. Actually, it happened in the past, or this is live, not live, but like if it's a video, I tell my dad, Daddy, you're starting it over. Say, what do you say? I will be commenting.
Is that it?
No,
Um,
not quite yet.
Well, actually, I have a couple videos coming up with your sister that I made. A couple Let's Plays.
Oh yeah, you got that right.
Alright, well, say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, and I'm going to sing one song. We are champions. The champions.
Alright. Adios.
Adios, amigo. Bye. Bye. Phoebe, bye. Bye. Okay, keep saying bye. I dare you keep saying
100 times. Who could say the most byes?
I like
Bye, 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 bye.
Bye, 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 bye. I like that. I like that action with byes.
Alright, it's up to you. Go push that button that says finish, upper right.
Wait, wait, what? Is it finished?
No, nerd, you left it on still. Here. Bye. Hey, you messed it up. Don't touch it again. There we go. Ready?
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, Dad, too.